What's up, my folks? I hope everyone is doing wonderful. I got old mama tightened back up. She's looking good again. Before we get on this video, I want to tell you guys it's got pups coming from me. Y'all need to come get them. I got other shit coming in. I'm going to need my brooders. I'm about to breed her brother to a couple bitches. I'm going to breed him to a turtle buster bitch, and I'm going to breed a midnight cowboy boomerang bitch to him. I'm going to need them breeders, and then I got Rusty, I'm going to breed to another bitch, and then I'm going to breed Clubber to another bitch. So you guys that got them dogs, them puppies off of Clubber and Rusty, y'all need to call me. I'm telling you, I ain't going to hold them forever. Y'all gonna better get with me. You'll have to go back on the line again. But anyway, this video I'm fixing to do is probably going to hurt some feelings. And that's not my intention. I do these videos to kind of help people and educate y'all and keep y'all on the right side of the tracks. All right. First of all, these dogs are performance bred animals. The American Pitbull Terrier is not a show dog. That's the Amstaff, okay? Or bully or anything like that. People use them for pets and all that, but the main thing is these dogs are to be bred for performance. When you fall out of that standard is where problems occur, okay? And this is what I was telling about. So many people get these dogs and think they want to be a breeder, and the problem is people are very childlike mentally when it comes to these dogs. It's like when a kid learns how to color with crayons. He thinks he's the next fucking Pablo Picasso, you know? It's the same way people get a bulldog. They think they can do it. Then we're the same people that talk down on guys like Tom Garner. Somebody that sneezed and spit out more knowledge than they'll have their whole life. But, you know, these guys claim they're the best of their time and all this shit. All right. First of all, someone with experience, real experience, can look at the dogs, how you're putting them together, and tell if you're just full of shit or not. All right, I was sent a video. Not even gonna say the dude's name. Never met him, never heard of him. But this is a typical thing in these dogs. All right, best breeder of my time. And then you look at the dogs he's putting together, and the worst part is you got everybody on fucking the comments. I read them. It was just kind of amusing. You can tell it's like the blind leading the blind. Come on, girl. Let's go down here. You know, anyone with experience can look at a dog. When you're breeding and your stud dog is easty westy, barrel chested as shit, cockeyed like a dude with a crooked-eyed outlaw with a pistol. I mean, just fucked up, you know. It doesn't matter how big their head is and how wide their chest is and all that stuff. That's not what these dogs are. I can look at a dog like that and I can tell you from lots of years experience hunting with these dogs, that dog is going to be like a fish out of water in 15 minutes. He is going to be on his side, grasping for air. And when you continuously put together shit like that, that's what you're going to produce. All right. Yeah, they might look cool to you. Get a bully. That's more of the standard of what they're supposed to look like. These dogs are not supposed to have big, wide barrel chests and all that shit, man. Big old fat heads bigger than their body. I mean, that's the looks, man. That's what I mean. You can't. I'm just being honest with you. That's why I try to tell you guys, man, learn the dogs first. And if you're not hunting with the animals and using them for performance, you're not going to have a clue of what you got. All right, you're not even going to know how to look at them to put them together. That's the problem. Okay, and breeding by paper is one thing. Once in a while that works. I've seen it work before. You know, you can throw enough shit on the wall and eventually something's going to stick. But for the most part, you have to have a understanding of these animals. And I can look at somebody and tell they're not even a mediocre breeder if they're putting together that kind of stuff. Not even mediocre. All right, I mean, you know, and I had a dude say, well, look at the shorty cowboy dog. Yeah, look at him. Yeah, he made a few good dogs, but they had to cross him out and straighten that shit out. They really had to make chicken salad out of chicken shit with that. Okay, not knocking anybody's shorty cowboy stuff, crossed out, but there was a lot of garbage off that shit too. A lot of very 15-minute out of gas type dogs. You couldn't run them down the road. You know, couldn't handle a keep because they would fucking fall apart on you. You know, that's what I'm trying to tell you guys. These are performance animals, man. And you got to know you got to have an idea of what you're dealing with. And it takes experience, man. That's what I'm saying. You're not going to become Picasso overnight just because you learn how to use a coloring book. Come on. It's more to it than that. A lot more to it. And it took a lifetime. It takes a lifetime to have an understanding. Okay? Yeah, you can buy 2 good dogs from somebody, a good breeder that has an idea, and you can put them together and get great shit. But that's not what's happening nowadays. People are doing this shit to try to make their name up. You know what I'm saying? And that's the, if you're doing it for you, for your if you're doing it for your ego, you are definitely doing it wrong. I'm just saying. All right. If anything, putting together these type of dogs will humble your ass. It's hard enough to get great dogs when you're using great performance dogs from superior bloodlines. It's still hard enough to get good dogs. You know, I mean, it's really a trick to it, and you gotta be able to. You really gotta have that mentality that, you know, hey, it's kind of like dropping the quarter in the bucket of water and trying to get it in the shot glass. That's kind of what it's like. You know what I mean? You're going to think, all right, I got it this time. You drop it in there and don't make the cut. You know, you drop it in there again, I'm definitely going to get it in that glass. Nope. You know, I mean, that's what'll happen to you. And it's very expensive and time consuming. And if it doesn't humble you, that's why I laugh when all these guys get on here beating their chest and all this shit. And, you know, the old timers started that shit, talking about, oh, my dogs are this and my dogs are that. I don't need nothing. Man, you blind. You're being dumb to yourself. There's always room for improvement. Even the oldest and best breeders of our time are always trying to improve their dogs. Okay? And that's kind of like the conversation I was having turned toward Gardner. I respect the fuck out of Garner. He's an inspiration. He should be an inspiration to all of y'all. I don't care what anybody's problem is with him or not. You should respect him for just being him. I mean, he's an intellectual monster. He's put together some outstanding dogs. I'd say 75% of the great dogs in the world right now have got some influence of Garner blood in them. I'm serious. From the dogs that I've seen, hey, let me put it this way. The dogs that I've seen perform, some of the best performers always have a look, you know, most of the time, 75% of the time, if you look through that pedigree, you're going to see his name in there. You know what I mean? You got, that's earned respect. You cannot even put yourself on a level like that, especially someone breeding barrel-chested, cockeyed dogs. I mean, that's just the truth, man. A lot of you guys need to humble yourselves a little bit. And I can tell you're not actually working these dogs and hunting with them, or you would be a little more humble. I mean, that's honest. You know, if these dogs don't humble you, nothing will. And if your ego is that fucking big in these dogs, you're not going to be in them long, because it will eventually humble you and you won't be able to take it. I mean, these dogs are full of disappointments. Come on. I know you think you're going back. I'll walk you again. But, you know, mature up a little bit, you guys that are starting to breed your dogs and stuff like that. Understand, there's a lot more to it. If you breed a litter of dogs and you're honest with them and are honestly hunting them and not coddling them and putting them through the real test in the real swamp on badass hogs, not pigs and shit, not pigs tied to a fence and all that crap, you're going to see it. You're going to be lucky to get half your litter turn out to be usable, good quality dogs. If you're getting half a litter every time, I'd say you're on the road to being a good breeder. And then when you start getting litters, 3/4 of the litters turning out real good, and I'm not talking about just usable then. I'm talking where the damn dog's got mouth, wind, durability, gameness, intelligence, got the whole package going on. Speed, that's another thing, speed, you know, then you're getting somewhere. But then a lot of the guys that get these dogs, they don't have the knowledge to know how to bring it out of them. They think, oh, the dog's 17 months old. Let's go, he's ready. You got to teach them just like anything else. The dog doesn't know what you want him to do. Yes, instincts are going to take over, but they don't have the fucking rule book, okay? When he lets me go, I'm supposed to go catch that hog, and I'm supposed to do this and do that. And they don't know that. They have to, that's why it's called a schooling process. You know, that's why you have to start them and do that. It doesn't matter how they're bred if they're not schooled properly. Then you really gonna, it's a real gamble of if that coin's gonna get in that shot glass. You know, I mean, there's a lot more to it than just letting two dogs fuck, guys. A whole lot more to it. And if that doesn't humble you, when you're doing these dogs, if that doesn't humble you, nothing will. I mean, it just isn't. I know today's society, everyone's supposed to act like they're bigger and badder and all that than they really are, you know, to get clout and all that shit. But in the real world, there's a reason, there's a standard for these dogs to look a certain way. There's a reason for it. And I mean, and it makes a difference. Come on, we'll go back up. I can tell you it makes a huge difference. If the dog does not build as structurally good, he's going to have a hard, really, I've been preaching that the whole time. If he can't breathe, he can't hunt. I mean, that's one of the main things you got to have is good wind. It's very important. A lot of people, you'll hear them say, oh, I don't care about mouth. I'm just, well, mouth's important as well. Gameness is important. Durability is important. Intelligence is important. And you got to put it all in the hands of somebody that knows how to bring it out of that dog, or that dog ain't going to know what the fuck to do. And then they have to be smart enough to say, this is an animal, not a machine. There's a lot more to it than just being the best breeder in the world. And you're not going to hear about the great dogs. Very few people will tell you where they got that dog from. A lot of people that get dogs from me, I tell them, I don't even tell them you got them from me. Let them figure it out. You know what I mean? But you won't hear about the good ones. But people will scream from the rooftops about the ones that don't turn out. I mean, and the good thing is, nowadays a lot more people are getting into hunting. That has been a good, it's kind of, I've watched it kind of ebb and flow. You know, it comes up and then goes back down. People get into it, kind of drop out. You know, it's a little rougher than they think, a little harder on men than they think, a little more expensive than they think, you know. But I've had a lot of people asking me about things lately. You know, where to go, who to talk to, trying to put people in touch with each other. You know, so that's a good thing. But, yeah, if you're not... And pulling on a rope or running a treadmill, all that's fine and dandy. But it's not, a dog can condition himself to do something. You understand what I'm saying? He can, if you do something with a dog repetitively, he's going to do it better and better and better and better. But that's not the same as running in the chest deep of water for them, up and down hills, through mud, you know, hot, cold, all that stuff. They have to actually experience it to know what you got. I mean, just one of those things where you kind of got to shit or get off the pot, or you ain't going to know what you're doing, you know. But I just wanted to address that because I've seen more and more guys coming out lately. Breeders. Hell, I didn't really start fucking putting together dogs. I never sold dogs because I didn't feel like, I kept mine and used mine until I got to the situation in my life where I'm like, okay, these dogs are good enough to go anywhere with anybody, and hopefully they're good enough that they'll be good enough even with dumbasses can handle them. Well, I learned that a dumbass can mess up anything. It don't matter how good it is. So that's something you got to take. 25% of your dogs that come off your stable are going to be probably fucked up, you know. Especially today's time, people just can go out and buy dogs, and that's why I hate selling older dogs. You know what I mean? Because unless they got time in that animal, money doesn't even seem to bother half of them. It's real time and work and energy. Then they'll actually do the right by. But if they just come to somebody and say, "I buy this 15-month-old dog from you for $1,500," that dog, I guarantee, is good as ruined. It's going to be good as ruined within 6 months. It's just what I've seen, what I've experienced in all these years fucking with these dogs. So understand that too, selling older stock. there's a good chance that you just pretty much didn't give him a chance. You know what I mean? So there's a lot more to it than just coloring in between the lines, you know, a whole lot more to it. It's like being an artist. And, you know, it amuses me that people can say things about the guys that have been doing this for generations, for decades and decades, and talk bad about them like they're dumbasses and don't know what they're doing and all. It just amuses the shit out of me. That tells me right there they're green as fuck. They don't have respect for nobody, so they're not going to be a very good morally compass, you know. And that's another thing, the respect people have now. I mean, there's such trash, you know. And that's what you got to sift through all that. Once in a while, you're going to find a fucking diamond in the rough, though. I mean, I gotten some guys that I've contacted with that are true diamonds, and I'm happy I got them around, and I'm happy that they have my dogs in the hand, and I can see what my dogs are doing now without me actually having to hunt, because these guys have enough sense to know what they're doing. What's the matter? You smell it? Smell it. She smells something. But anyway, folks, yeah, I wanted to get that off my chest because I had a bunch of people sending me this kind of shit, and I'm like, man, this is getting out of control. I mean, and the thing is, you know, you got people encouraging, oh yeah, dog, you the man, you the truth, you the this and that, and don't even know what they're looking at. Have no idea about these dogs. Don't encourage garbage. I'm not trying to knock nobody down, and I want people to succeed in this. But if they're not going to listen, and their ego is so big that you can't tell them anything, they'll never learn. Because I'm telling you right now, and these dogs, if you don't learn something new all the time in these dogs for the duration of you being in them, if you get that serious where you think that you know everything, you're lost, bro. You're just fucking lost, because you're going to learn something about these dogs every time you put something together. Every time. I mean, you might have one litter. This is another thing people don't get. You can breed two dogs. Like I can breed her to a male, right? And get a great litter off that. And then, I mean, just awesome. Do it again, and the second litter not be near as good. Explain that to me, Sherlock. You see what I'm saying? It's literally like dropping that fucking coin in that 5 gallons of water. You don't really know where it's going to land. But anyway, folks, y'all take care. Y'all stay safe, and y'all keep on bulldogging.